We are live. Oh, tell them to be quiet. Okay.
No.
All right. Let's refresh, see if we see ourselves. There, I see results. We got 4. So that's you, me, and 2 others, I guess. Give it a couple seconds.
That's fine.
It's Friday, everybody. We're happy about Friday. $22. What's our trigger number?
Yeah, I know, right? You're gonna have to sell.
That's what I forgot today. I was gonna buy stocks. I totally forgot.
Oh, I don't have any numbers up here. Oh, 31. Maybe I'm lagging behind here. Oh, we lost somebody.
No.
Oh, 35. All right, there we go.
Hey, Gerald. Hey, Elling.
Good evening.
Good to see you too, Ann. I know.
Ann. Oh, we got 2 Anns back to back.
I had my monthly treatment today, so my butt is dragging. Gotta take another Benadryl and go to bed.
Hi, Karen.
So let's say about 50. Give it another minute. We're getting there. I see you too, Susan. It's my fault. I was late. All right, so I see 53.
We're at 50.
All right, so good evening. It's Friday, the Mariette and Michelle show. So we are here to answer your questions. So start firing questions away. Yes, we have had some great press articles in the last 10 days, Ellen. Keep up the great work you guys are doing and helping us be able to have things to put out. We're going to start doing a few more initiatives come next week. We're just going to tighten up the strings on those this weekend and be able to get them to you. We'll post them on Monday. Still more campaigning, letter campaigns, you know, to elected officials and city council. I wrote a letter to my city councilman and brought it there personally. Thank you, Marilyn. That's phenomenal. Who was your city council person, by the way? Hi, Laurel. It's great to see you too. We'll be doing this like every Friday. This show is better than CNN. I haven't even turned on my TV in months. Been too busy. Okay, I have to check the list. I haven't looked at it in a couple weeks. I do not know if they had signed on or not. I do not think so.
Let me write down.
Narcisse, Narcisse.
Mm-hmm.
I'll check it later. All right, so you could start about that one thing.
That one thing. Okay. It is the beginning of May. We do know that OLR put on their page that the IRMA forms would be out. Okay, we don't know when OLR is going to post It could be the beginning of May, the middle of May, the end of May. There's 31 days in May. We don't know when they're going to post it. It'll be sometime. Call them. Well, they don't answer the phone, but they might, because every so often there's a sighting, you know, or a pickup, and somebody does answer. Email them. Ask them, when you're going to put the form out? When you're going to put the form out? Maybe somebody will get back to you. But again, do call them. So some people, we did actually call them, I think last month or the month before, and somebody actually did pick up the phone. We were surprised. We were waiting for the recording to pick up, and lo and behold, somebody actually answered. So again, yeah, it shocked us, I tell you that much. But again, they said sometime in May. We don't know when. So again, you know.
So just have patience with that. It's just that when they say May, they don't mean it's going to be May 1st, May 5th. It could be May 10th, May 20th, May 29th. It's just not up to us. So,
Right.
you know, don't think we're ignoring you or we don't have an answer. We don't really have an answer because we don't put the form out. So you're kind of at the, you know, it was like when we were waiting for the city to put out like opt-out forms or whatever. So just hang in there, you know. Gerald had a question. He said, do you think the unions will be outraged if the city instituted the nuclear option? So let me explain something about that. The unions have to make the agreement. They're the ones that are actually negotiating the nuclear option with the city. It's not that the city can do this on their own. The city can't do any of this without the unions. Okay. Who are the unions? The unions make up the MLC. Every union has a seat on the MLC, the Municipal Labor Council. So they are voting for shit like this. There's a sheet that I don't know if I've shared with all of you. It is a 14-point sheet that the city and the MLC have been negotiating, I think, since 2010, at least since Bloomberg, Cass Holloway, and it's still being used today. And there's probably more on it that I'm familiar with because this is an old sheet. But just so you understand, most of the things on there, they would more or less affect a retired person. They're not going to want to negotiate something that's going to affect them. I mean, who does? And that's just common sense. I mean, there are things on there that will affect them, you know, premiums and things like that. But so Gerald, don't think the unions would go for it. No, I think the unions will go for anything to save themselves at this point, because remember, the message that the unions keep hearing from the MLC is there's no money in the stabilization fund. There's no money for the welfare fund. And we need to get money. We need to get money. And this is what we keep hearing. If we don't have money in the stabilization fund, what are we going to do? Well, we got to get money fast. So now they're desperate. They're thinking about which ways we can go ahead and get a quick fix into that fund to support the stabilization fund. And of course, you still have the unions thinking, because the leadership of the Municipal Labor Council is telling them that the welfare funds are being bankrupted by the retiree health care, which is another lie. Should we go into this? Do we go into this? Do we have time for this? Time on all right, we'll make a little time, I guess, right? So a quick education on the stabilization fund. It's basically under the control of the unions. And if they say they don't, I've got collective bargaining agreements to show that they're absolutely not telling the truth. The stabilization fund has money gets put into it, either by the city or by the unions, and money comes out of it. But it has to be agreed upon by both the city and the unions on how that money is supposed to be used. And a simple way of finding that without even having to dig, go onto our website. I think it was under FAQs number 29, when I wrote that letter back to the retired teacher down in Florida who put out some misinformation, whatever. In number 29 should be the 2014 and the 2018 agreement. Just go back and look at those. It'll actually tell you how much money goes into those stabilization. There's little lines in there that'll tell you how much money would be put into the stabilization fund. And the 2014 agreement shows that $1 billion came out of the stabilization fund for the teacher raises. Because you remember, the teachers didn't have a raise for like 9 years. And so they collectively bargained an 18% raise. which was like a 2% increase a year. Plus it was done over time, so they had to also fund their retro. The city didn't have money. The city made an agreement with Michael Mulgrew, hey, you know, if you want this raised, it's got to come out of the stabilization fund, and you have to also agree to healthcare savings. So go look at those 2014 and 2018 agreements, because that's a really good start. And in that number 29, I also showed you some of the ways where other organizations show that the money's coming in and out of that fund. So in order, everything, Michael Mulgrew from the UFT made healthcare an item of collective bargaining. I guess for whatever reason, that was an agreement that he made. He wanted it enrolled in CBAs, and it did. So now that it's there, he has to talk about it all the time. And that's something clearly he said in his webinars, I can't stand talking about healthcare. Well, you know, you put yourself here. This is where we are. Now, with the health insurance stabilization fund, with the nuclear option, for those who don't know what it is, we've dubbed it the nuclear option, is if the city decides to kill all health plans and leave only the map on the table. And in some of our YouTubes, we have described this as the city knew about this as an option since 2020 when they put that RFP out for this MAP. They actually gave 3 options, and this was in one of my other YouTube videos on the organization's YouTube channel, where we explain from the RFP, they had 3 choices: leave the map on the table only, leave the map and GHI senior care on the table, but there would be a premium to senior care. And then the other one was the map and senior care, but senior care had a premium. So what did the Alliance choose? The Alliance chose that senior care could stay on the table, but there'd be a premium to it. And it was in the collective bargain. It was in the contract, the Alliance contract with the city. So now if they're going to change a plan, and this is the sneaky thing that maybe you guys don't realize. Every time when you were active, because retirees, we really haven't seen copays, right? This is the first year that the city did this, but the city didn't do this on their own. The unions had to agree to our copays. For actives, when you see actives and non-Medicare retirees, when you see copays, when you see increased co-insurances, when you see a 20% co-insurance on durables, when you see a copay for hospitalization, when you see a benefit that has changed, that had to be negotiated. The city just can't do that on their own. So the unions had to agree to that in bargaining over healthcare. So it's not that, you know, I'm sorry, this is a long answer, Gerald, but you asked and you got me all fired up. I'm sorry. But, but the city can't do this on their own. And it has to be an agreement with the MLC. And who's the MLC? The unions. Every union is on that committee. How does the union vote? How does the MLC vote? This will blow your minds, because this angers me to no end, right? To me, I'm thinking democracy. Every union is there. There's 40 unions, 100 unions, 100 unions. Everyone has a vote, right? No, it's not really like that. Gerald's laughing at me. See, I'm having a coffee. So the MLC, this is why it's like we all dub it like we say it's like a little mini mafia, right? Because you have the chairman of the MLC, which is Harry Nespoli, and then you've got Michael Mulgrew and Henry Garrido, the 2 largest unions, presidents or executive directors, whatever you want to call them. They hold the controlling vote of the MLC, not all the 100 unions behind them. Even if all the other 100 unions were like, well, we don't want this shit. Guess what? If Henry Garrido and Michael Mulgrew want something, guess what? Their vote is so weighted, it goes towards whatever basically they want. The other unions can bitch and complain, but those 2 unions can pretty much control that. That's got to stop. That's got to stop. That to me, and this also explains why all the other unions we're speaking to are afraid to speak out, because of pressure that organization has put on them, where Henry will say something to them, give pressure to them, or they're afraid to speak out of whatever retaliation by Henry or Harry. That's not fair. It's really not fair. That's not what the MLC wasn't designed for that. It just wasn't. It was supposed to be that all the organizations would come together and be able to negotiate citywide as a whole, instead of independently competing against each union. It was to create a brotherhood, a family, not who you could screw and screw within yourselves. It just creates such tension amongst the other unions.
It changed over time, and that's what happened.
Yeah, it wasn't meant that way. Sorry, Joe.
You know.
What's
All right.
going on with the controller and the mayor? The controller refused. So this is old news, Ellen. The reason the controller sent it back was because the funding wasn't there. The funding for the contract was coming off of us, that 191.57. Because the funding isn't there, the contract's not funded. So they sent it back. And don't be surprised if it comes back, because that's what Harry Nispoli and Alan Klinger, their attorney, said is they're trying to revive it back for January, based upon, of course, what the court says. But they're not giving up on that plan, and they would have to bring a revised contract back, which, trust me, they're revising based upon comments from the MLC, right, Michelle?
Well, that's what the Magic 8 Ball says.
Who is benefiting from our copays? Well, your copays help the city and the unions from not having to pay the premium to
Higher premium. Well, the city
The
says,
insurance.
oh, right, the higher premiums, it keeps them down. That's what they say.
If there is a nuclear option, the retirees and the other plans would probably leave the city altogether. I know they will not get back to Medicare, but they do not. So what would be the point of the nuclear option, right? So the city is trying to say that they don't want to pay for health insurance. And the easiest way to do it is to dump us into MA, because then the federal government pays for it. But remember, there's two things here. We are currently right now protected by 12-126 of the Administrative Code. The city and the unions, the city and the MLC, because this is an option that the MLC is discussing, according to the 8 Ball, right, Michelle?
That's right.
That the city and the unions are discussing doing this, of getting rid of 12-126. 12-126 sets the HIP HMO rate that pays, that is the cap. Like the city, it says the city will pay insurance for all employees, retirees, and their dependents to the HIP HMO rate. And it also pays for our Medicare B. If they destroy 12-126, it affects the HIP HMO benchmark as to the cap of that rate, meaning that the city has to pay all health insurance premiums up to the rate of HIP HMO for everybody. It also has to pay Medicare B reimbursement. If the city and the unions agree to modify or kill 12-126, that kind of throws everything into a tailspin. And this is why we say, when we're talking to you to talk to your city council people, it's important that they understand this history, because this is our history. 12-126 was legislated in 1965. Medicare came online in 1966. When I say it was legislated, after Medicare was becoming, was going online in I think it was July of 1966, the city had to decide what to do with retiree healthcare, because they were paying the full amount of, almost the full amount of retiree healthcare at that point. And still it was saving them money to pay Medicare B reimbursement than it was to pay the full amount of what they were paying for the full 100% of our insurance. Right now, the city only pays for 20% of our insurance. They don't pay for the full 100%. For a non-Medicare eligible and an active, they do. For a Medicare eligible retiree, for us, the city only pays for 20% of our healthcare. Even adding in our Medicare B reimbursement, they still pay less than what they'd be paying to the HIP HMO cap. So they're saving money. And this is why back in that day, back in 1965, 66, the mayor, city council, elected officials, the unions, the retiree organization came out to support doing this for a retired person, that they instituted a law for it. This is why it's important for unions to know their history, and why we have to teach them, because they don't know how this came about. They don't know that everyone came together to say, great, Medicare is a benefit we don't have to duplicate it. Let's let the government give Medicare to Medicare eligible. Let's provide the 20% that the Medicare doesn't pay for. Even if we pay for the Medicare B, we're still paying for their full insurance like we are for the employees. That's great. And it's costing us less. Now they want to throw us to the wolves. Then in the 80s, under the Koch administration, Koch wanted to try to get rid of Medicare B reimbursement. So what he did was something really ugly. He decided to tell all the city agencies that they would have to sustain a budget cut in order for us to keep our Medicare B reimbursement. So now he's pitting seniors against agencies, right? Like, what a cruel, ugly thing to do. And then Peter Vallone, who was Speaker of the Council at the time, he came out and said, no, how horrible it is, Mayor, for you to do that. You know, you can't pit retirees against city agencies. The city agencies are sending emails back and yelling, don't do this to us. And so finally, they all came together. And yes, Peter Vallone still works. He's an attorney. We've asked him to help us on this because he was alive and well and running the council all during this. But Mr. Vallone doesn't seem to want to help us out here, which I'm very disappointed about, because we did a lot of work with him back in the day, and I even worked in his district. But you know, he's not wanting to help refresh the memory of the council and the city is exactly why we have what we have, unfortunately. But Peter Vallone struck a deal with Mayor Koch, and we got to keep our Medicare B, and the agencies got to be happy. You know, and now today that's 80, 90, 200, 220. We're in 2022. How many years later? And we're still now in the same situation where now the unions are being pegged against the retirees to save our health benefits. This is insane. This is why when people say history repeats itself, it's really important to know your history so that you could say, no, that happened before. You lost then, you're going to lose again.
All right. Catherine Goldberg asked, how can the unions negotiate new contracts that affect those that retired under our own contract negotiations? Yes,
Great
we ask
question,
that
Catherine.
every day.
Great
Yes,
question, Catherine.
great question.
Unions cannot negotiate for a retiree.
But I guess their magic 8 ball says something different, because my magic 8 ball don't say that.
They can't. It's illegal.
No.
Unions can only, under the Taylor law, represent someone that has wages, hours, and work conditions. We don't have wages, hours, and work conditions.
Yeah.
Don't worry, that's coming. What's the best case outcome of the lawsuits? We win. That's easy. I don't know. I know, Renee, I really can't get into what we're doing on that. That would, because this goes into a public forum on YouTube, and we're already being stalked by Blue Cross and the city, and you know, so that's got to stay on what we're doing on our own.
No, Ann, I only have a couple. I need them all. Each day is a different one. So what else did we have to talk about?
There's a legal support that opt-out requirement for employer and union plans is not. Ellen, did you send that to the org drive, the org email address, or to me personally? And if you sent it, I'm going to bother you to send it to me again. Have any extra magic 8 balls? That's great. So why should we vote if they're doing? I'm assuming you mean in the UFT election, Deborah. Are you? I'm going to butcher your last name. Is it Bigelson? If you're talking about the UFT, if you are a dues paying member of the UFT, you should vote. So because you're paying dues, your vote is only counted as a half vote, and they only count up to 22,000 votes from a retired person. So if you have the ability and you're part of the group that would like to see Mr. Mulgrew take a vacation, you might want to vote him out and vote someone else in. I believe that person running against him is Ms. Eterno, and vote their slate in, because that changes the makeup of the MLC. That then whoever's the UFT president becomes, you know, one of the executives at the MLC. So that's why if you're able to vote, you should. And I'm going to give that advice in anything. We fought for our right to vote, especially us women. So, and if the union is shaking you down for dues, and that's going to be our next topic next week. If the unions are bothering you for dues, you should be taking advantage of it. Why did Judge Frank say the MLC had the right to negotiate the map given the Taylor law? Well, so Elga, the MLC and the union and the city have the ability, have the right to negotiate collective bargaining agreements and healthcare benefits, but for actives. They really should not be negotiating for retirees. They can elect to, he didn't say that they can negotiate for a retired person. He gave them the okay to institute a Medicare Advantage plan. And that's because we already have Medicare Advantage plans in the city repertoire going back to 2003. I'm a full human being. Yes, you are, Ann, but the UFT only counts half of you and up to 22,000 votes. That tells you you are not a full weighted vote. You're not a full weighted person to the UFT. They really just want your dues. and actually, I have to go back there. I'll have to add this to my to-do list. There's so much misinformation regarding this UFT tying their dues to benefits. It's not real. A retiree made some phone calls for me probably about a month ago. I'll have to go find her email, her messages to me, and we'll put that up. I don't know if we ever did or if she did, but that should be clarified somewhere. We need to mark that. Did we miss something? I don't think we did want to talk about donations, right?
Yes, we did.
So we want to thank everyone who's been donating. Thank you with a heart. I gave you my little message today. That's helping us fund this thing. So we wanted to build up our war chest, and for our cases that will be starting. And it's funny. I hope the UFT counts my head as one of my parts and not my lower half. You're funny. So yeah, so we have our case that'll hopefully be on the calendar sometime in September, and I'm going to start framing it. We go to the September term, but it doesn't necessarily mean our case will be heard in September. It could be October, it could be November, it could be at any time. We know the city's going to start to get antsy as we get closer, and they're going to try to force the judge to the judge panel to hear this case sooner, but who the hell knows what will happen. So sometime in the fall, our case will be heard. And so we need to gear up, you know, for that. And we appreciate all of you helping us out with this, as we've explained the last time, the expenses of our legal fees, and that's where just about all of our money goes to, other than in banking fees and our website fee and our insurance to cover us for doing what we're doing and everything else. So, and that's really incidental compared to the legal costs. So that we want to thank you. So we're going to start doing, go ahead.
So I just want to, why is there feedback? Okay. So I want to just say kudos to all you guys who are learning how to use Zelle. Yeah. You guys are awesome, because I get the emails and they're like, oh, did my Zelle come through? Or can you check to make sure, and like get little deposits here and there. But kudos to you for learning something new, because I know how hard it is as an adult learner to learn something. So kudos. Again, all amounts are welcomed, even everybody who is scrambling to make ends meet, because we know, yes, that these copays are kicking everybody's, you know what? So again, heartfelt thanks to everyone, okay, who has been, kicking it up, with the donations. We greatly appreciate it. Again, grassroots, this is how we're funding this lawsuit. And again, much, much appreciated.
Yes.
So
We've missed a few questions.
did we?
Yeah.
Just go back, Dad.
Frank Caputo, just off topic, I became Medicare eligible May 1st. I have received no help or response since February from OLR, not even a Morse code message or a smoke signal. You're not alone, honey. That is one of the most inept agencies ever. I don't know how the mayor, and if the mayor's watching this, Mayor Adams, you really should do something about labor relations. I know you gave Ms. Renee Campion a second term or whatever, but you really should make sure that her office answers the phones and answers emails. Okay, I'm stepping off my soapbox. I have been dealing with GHI, and finally today I have my GHI senior care plan and Empire Hospital senior care plan indicated on the GHI website. Question: how do I request a 365-day hospital rider? I have received no info from any source on this. Frank, so the email for labor relations is health benefits with an S at olr.nyc.gov. If you have not emailed them and you have not completed you need to send your Medicare card to the city. If you haven't done that, you will need to do that. If you go onto OLR's website, there is actually a procedure for you to follow that will tell you what to do when you become Medicare eligible, because they have to be informed. And you also need to complete a Medicare reimbursement form so that you will be entitled to your Medicare B reimbursements. So that would be the short answer for that. If you do not get an email reply back telling them that you want to have your 365-day hospital rider, and actually I think further down below, a gentleman actually put down the change form that you can complete. You can add in, you should be able to add in that. I'll have to go look at the form after, and if it's not correct, I will message you personally. So if you know how to check your messages for those you're not friends or connected to, Frank, just check that, because I will probably message you if that's not correct. But that would be the advice to you. If they don't, then we want to hear from you, because we will help you connect you to labor relations.
Got an email.
Yeah, Stephen Fisher further down posted a link to the health benefit change form. Thank you, Stephen. And Ellen, you make a point. Yes, if you don't pay UFT dues, you can't be in SHIP or have catastrophic, but you do have your vision, dental, and that's important, because so many people think that everything is tied to their dues, and it's absolutely not. And your SHIP or catastrophic, I bet you, because there's other unions that actually offer that at a lower expense than what the UFT charges you for. I would bet that you could get that someplace else.
Is it possible to get Ed Hissick or Neil Frumpkin to give you the last page of the DC 37 pep talk paper to explain to current workers what city and unions are doing for us retirees and the retirees in training?
The DC 37 PEP paper? You mean the one that we get mailed to us, Joseph? I get that.
So if you would give us the back page.
But the back page is the retiree page. They all get that, don't they? Doesn't the active
Oh,
get
no,
that in the paper?
Meaning give us the last page to explain, meaning give us the ad.
Oh. Well. That's an interesting concept. I'll take that under advisement, Joseph. Yes, Gerald, thank you. Good point. And Frank Caputo, you'll need to electronically upload that file to them when you do your health change form and your cards and whatever. In the website, in the OLR website is the LEAP file system. You have to, and their system is pretty shitty there too, because you don't get any type of confirmation or anything. It just says your papers are successfully uploaded. But then you'll contact them later via email when you haven't heard anything, and they'll say, we never got it. Well, how could it be a successful upload and you didn't get my paperwork? So stay on top of that. Keep that in mind that that will probably happen to you. But reach out to us for help.
If we win, I know we touched this last week. If we win, will the city reimburse us? Ask the court to pay for our legal fees. We touched this last week. There's no city law.
So right now, and this is, you know, well, Madeline and Michelle and I kind of grumble about this too, that we've not yet found a way for us to be able to recoup what we've spent. And there has to be a law in order, even though the city violated the law and broke the law and caused us to have to do this, there isn't a law in place to allow us to recover what we spent. Is that crappy? Yeah. Ed Hissick is no longer the DC-37 retirees president. Yes, I am aware. Erwin Cohen, my wife went on Medicare as of May 1. I sent the forms to OLR, both through email and return receipt, no answer. I then contacted my congressman and he contacted OLR for me, and I then got a call from OLR. My wife, oop, I lost my messages, there it goes. My wife received her senior care card. Yeah, you know, and honestly, Erwin, would you do me a favor, please, and email the mayor's office? The mayor needs to hear this, and anyone, this is another, let's do this. Anyone that's been having a hard time contacting labor relations, just Google, email the mayor. It comes right up. And then email the mayor. I want him to hear your voices. Let him hear you, because this is inept. This is not, if he wants to go spending money on billboards in Florida and centers in Times Square and whatever, then maybe he should work on making sure that one of his mayoral agencies knows how to answer the telephone. So add that to your to-do list on Monday. Yeah, but you shouldn't have to call Swazi to get OLR to answer you. Right?
No, you're right. You're right.
Okay, so let's go to finish what we were talking about before. So we wanted to do, we're working, is Linda and Kathy Abramsky on our page tonight? Did you see them in here?
I didn't see him pop on, so we could always start this next week. And happy Mother's Day to you, Regina, and all the mothers out there.
Yeah, happy Mother's Day to everybody. No, I'm okay with doing this with this thing this week. That's fine. It'll give us another week to, it'll give her, yeah, we could do that. So for this week, so we want to make a plan where we could do something for you guys that are supporting what we're doing and kind of make it a little fun. We are going to start doing like a little giveaway for someone, doesn't matter how much you give or whatever, just anyone that donates from Friday to Sunday. If you're mailing a check, as long as it's dated Friday to Sunday, even though we get it somewhere in the week, by the next Friday when we do one of these, close the pages and chat with you guys. Madeline will look at those checks and see who's donated during the Friday, Saturday, Sunday, written a check on Friday, Saturday, Sunday, and we'll just pick a person and we'll announce the winner next Friday. Right?
Right. Well, we didn't, okay. That was the thing. Okay. We didn't work out the whole hash marks. That's why I said maybe we should start next week.
What do you mean hash marks?
Meaning that it would have been PayPal, Zelle and stuff this week, and then pick the brackets, because we still had to do the programmings for the checks, remember, to pull them out of the hat. Right. remember I talked to you about this.
Huh,
Yeah.
we'll figure it out. I'm not worried about it. We'll figure it out. So so anyone that don't, so trust me, Renee, this isn't going to end. You're stuck with us for quite a few more months. So the giveaway that we have, do I announce the giveaway? Or is it a surprise?
Well, that's again, we needed to hash all this out. You're killing me, Mary.
No, we said we were going to do this.
I know you.
Or did I say we were going to do this and you just
You
agreed?
said we were gonna do this.
Anyway, we're doing this. And
Okay.
so I have a gift sitting right here for someone. It's a nice type of a nice, it's all right, it's a belt. We're gonna donate a belt to someone. It's actually made from a New York City fire hose. And it's like a hot shot hose for all those firefighters that are out there. And with a FDA, it's a Platter 34. They're a great company in New York. And they have these awesome products. So I think that'll fit you if you're up to like a 38 or 40. And it's adjustable. So it's one of those clamp down belts. So anyone that does a donation between Friday and Sunday, even if it's a check, as long as it's dated for this week, we'll pick a name out of the hat next week, and then we'll announce it on Friday night, and that'll be the person, and then I'll just mail it to you. And tell Madeline I'll make it easy on her, don't worry. But it's really cool. Their products are kind of awesome, and they do belts and bags and stuff, and made out of fire hoses. So no, you can't strangle yourselves with it if we lose our case. Hey,
Oh,
listen,
stop, don't say that.
even if we lose, which I don't think we're going to lose, but even if we did, look at what we've done. We've created history, and we have shown unions and the city, you don't mess with a retiree. They expected to roll this over on us without us fighting back. This is, we created history, girl. Right, Michelle?
That's right. Absolutely. So Fred Autry, he said, how you ladies doing? Doing great. Tired, but doing great. My wife was shorted 300 on the Med B reimbursement, tried 4 times since trying to get, I guess, I'm assuming you're calling or emailing. No, all you do is fill out the reimbursement form, differential form, and then send it through that LEAP file that's on the OLR site. And then you send it off, and then in, I think it's March of next year, that's when they give you your differential money. They don't give it to you right away. So that's what, and if you have any questions or you need the form, I believe I have it, but it should be online. Email the organization's address and I'll send it to you.
Gerald says he needs to drop a few pounds. I'll talk to them. This one I bought, but I'll see if I can get them to donate a few. We'll call them this week. I prefer an 8-ball for a prize. Shucks, I just sent my donation. Don't worry, guys. We're not going anywhere. We're trying. We're trying to see if we can do something different every week.
Oh, Elga Jaffe, can we donate prizes?
Email us and let us know what you got. Yeah,
Oh,
women.
really?
What's that?
Fred Autry said he's been doing that since last year.
What's
Okay. With the reimbursement. Okay. Fred, email the all right, I'll email the organization, remind me, so tomorrow morning while I'm having coffee at like 5:30, so I'll give you an email address, because my magic 8-ball is going to tell me, and I'll give you an email address.
And
for
email
Monday.
Michelle,
Yes.
give him your address.
Okay.
Give him our email address.
Oh, it's I really, you can make me, all right. It's
Use the short one.
I don't even know what the short one is.
Retirees
Okay.
at nycretirees.org. So it's retirees, RETIREES at nycretirees.org. And it goes right to Michelle. This is for 2019 money. Yes. And you have to do the 2019 differential form. If you didn't do that, do it. If you did do it and you haven't been getting anything back from them, reach out to Michelle and she'll help you out. Thank you, Jacqueline. That's very sweet of you. When you make the donation in her name, make sure her name is on however you do it, and Madeline will put her name on the donated list on our website. And you know what? If your friend is on, it does email, register her on our website for our emails, because then what we'll do is she could kind of stay in touch, because we post the videos and we send them out, the links out in the email.
And yes, and kudos again to Mabel and Len. Those are our superstars that are out there.
We're going to do a spotlight on Len and Mabel. That's
yes, and there is a PDF file, and we do know that some people cannot open up that file. It is downloadable and can be printed. We're going to get a JPEG. We were told that some people can open a JPEG. Okay, so we're going to try to get 2 different files up there. Right now, the PDF is up there of that retiree flyer, or an active retiree flyer, and has a donation link up on the top and what Mabel and Len have been handing out. So put it up at your grocery stores, put it up at the senior centers, or any type of place that you visit, you know, hang it so people see it, you know, where they frequent, and, you know, hit the pavement like them. You know, you don't have, you know, I mean, they're doing a fabulous job. I've gotten emails from people. I send the, you know, the PDF form to them and they send it. I had somebody up said, oh, well, can you get those forms up here up at the Catskills? I said, well, here you go. Here's the forms. And, you know, so, you know, they are available. Put them in your local stores and area and get the word out.
Yep, it's picking up. Did we miss anything else? Excuse me.
Well, they thought we were going to sit in our rocking chairs while they dumped this atrocity disadvantage plan. Yep, that's right, Roberta. That's what they thought. I think that's it.
All right.
Got you. Oh, Terry, you're welcome.
Where's the dog? They're actually on the floor walking around. They don't like that they're not on camera. You'll see them next week, I promise. And if I feel up to doing another YouTube video this weekend, you'll see them. I'll do one of those. If I feel up to it this weekend, we'll do that. But so are we good?
Yeah.
I don't see anything else.
Yeah, but again, thank you. You guys have been great. You know, keep up the good work.
We appreciate everything you're doing.
Yes.
And getting the word out to you know, doing all that you were doing, because it's important. And in this time, even though it's kind of quiet, it does make a difference. Emailing, keep those phone calls up to your locals with the bullet points of the differences with the MA plan, and email it to them. But I'd say still keep those phone calls going to the district council, Harry Nespoli. I mean, light their phones up like Christmas trees, really. And I know it's Friday and if we're going into the weekend, but we'll remind you on Monday. They really need to hear you. They need to hear you. Let them hear you like we hear you.
Right. And we'll have more homework, different homework assignments next week.
You will.
Again, thank you for your support. We have, you know, our team that helps us. It's, you know, we're the voices here on Friday during the week. We did, oh, and that's the other thing. We did stretch out our hands last week and for an open, as they would call a open mic night, to hopefully get some active unions to come chat with us. And it was a big fat 0. Nobody showed up. So we just did me and Marianne and Madeline hung out for a little bit and then we shut it down. So we're having another one this Wednesday in the afternoon, see if maybe anybody shows, but regardless, on that note, again, give love to our moderators. They're out there, working, not working, I should say, but they're on the page and they're, they got our backs. They're keeping the page in check.
Answering all your questions.
Right. So give them love, okay? And happy Mother's Day to everybody out
Yep.
there.
Have a happy Mother's Day, everyone. And yes, we're gonna try to relax because it is a lot, but it's really important what we're doing. We're looking for needles in haystacks, literally. But we will. We were trying to practice self-care, right, this week.
Yeah, we're trying. Trying.
We will. We'll take off Sunday a little bit, but we will have more for you guys to do on Monday. But we're gonna close down. It's 9:28, and sorry for coming late, but we stayed a little bit later to make up for it, and it's always it's always great to see you guys. Janet, I'm sorry that you're listening late and that you just got here. But just a quick sum up. I'm not doing a quick sum up. Just this will hit the page and then just go back and watch it. Grab a glass of wine and sit and listen to us. Otherwise, we'll be here for another half hour. I love you guys. Have a great weekend. Have a great Mother's Day. And I'm good. You good?
That's it. We're good.
All right. I am going to move you over here. I will shut the page. I will shut this down. I will leave this up for a few more minutes and then close the page down. Love you guys. See you next week. Good night, Michelle.
Good night, Brianne. Good night.